Thank you. Tonight we're going to talk about the topic of sacrifice. This is the Pray It Off weight loss group in Syracuse, New York. And the first thing we're going to talk about is how Lent is a time of unselfish sacrifice. This is a great article here by Dr. Chris Anthony. And the first thing he says, the bolds are mine. I bold the copy, what I think really stands out. Love makes sacrifice a pleasure. You know, when we think about what we do for our children, you know, there's nothing we wouldn't do. The mother in the terrible storm who cradled her children under her body and lost most of both of her legs. If you could rewind time and give her a choice and say, your 2 children will escape unharmed, you're going to lose your legs, she would pick her legs every time. Every time. I would. I know everybody in this room would sacrifice those things for their own children, and that's what God looks at us like. We're His children. I'm not saying that the sacrifice in and of itself is a pleasure. There will be pain. There will be anguish. There will be repercussions from many sacrifices. But the outcome, the lives of those 2 children, is pleasurable. We don't necessarily lay our lives down for other people, but if we sacrifice some of our prized possessions, our time, our energy, our wealth, for the betterment of mankind, that is the kind of sacrifice that God's looking for. You know, and I'm not diminishing anybody's Lenten intention, so don't get upset with me if I say this. But if you give up chocolate for Lent, nice, that's good. Hey, good. It really is it's a self-directed sacrifice. Whereas what Jesus is looking for, I believe, and what His ultimate sacrifice on the cross was, is an other-directed sacrifice. You giving up chocolate doesn't really affect the world. And that's why I think it's good to have a couple of different Lenten intentions. Self-directed intentions and other-directed intentions. One of the big things here is, are we willing to forgive and offer our hand of friendship to our enemies and those who sin against us? You know, I've done whole sessions on forgiveness, and people have left here in tears because we're holding on to some anger and some resentment, especially if someone hurts someone that's so innocent and so helpless. That is so hard, and we will talk about forgiveness next week. And another hard thing is forgiving yourself. The real meaning of Lent is sacrifice, not for our well-being, but that of others. If you fast and abstain and pray as a mean to achieve that goal, maybe you can say, well, you know what, Ellen, I'm giving up chocolate, but every time I don't eat a piece of chocolate, I say a special intention for the souls of purgatory, or I do a special intention. Those connection of our personal sacrifice with the world or with others is what Christ is looking for. Our holiness in God must be for the benefit of others. And I said to Bob today on the phone, I always call him on the way to work because he leaves before I do in the morning, so I always call him hands-free. And I was saying again about how hard I worked this week. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, no snacks, no carbs, exercise every day, didn't lose any weight. And I said to him, he goes, are you upset? I go, no, Bob, I'm not upset, because I understand that that's okay. It's okay, because the big picture is this group. God, honest to God, if I would have gone from 338 down to 170 and didn't skip a beat and didn't have any bumps, when the going got tough, I know I would have said, this group is too much. I really can't do it. I'm going to not to pray it off anymore. But I truly believe that my own personal struggles has made me relate to other people's struggles more. I've learned and grown as a person. And God said to me, I'll help you if you help others. That is where the benefit of Pray It Off is to me. Yeah, I lost weight. Yeah, great. I'm healthier. I feel better. But if you ask me, the real benefit is the 2,737 pounds this group has lost. This session alone, since January 4th, has lost 282 pounds. That's incredible. There is where my pleasure is. Also, when we sacrifice, it's supposed to change our lives, not God's mind. God doesn't say, well, Ellen's not going to eat that chocolate, and I'm going to love her more, and she's going to go to heaven quicker. It doesn't say, and the whole bargaining thing, Lord, if I don't eat this piece of chocolate, will I lose 1 pound? Can I make that deal with you, Lord? I love the bargaining, you know. And what God is looking for is a contrite heart ready for service. That's the kind of gift He loves. Also, He really feels that, and I think I skipped ahead here. I'm still talking about Lent. All right, now I'm going to go right into the Mass as a sacrifice. This is a great article. I'm going to only hit the highlights because a lot of times as a Catholic, a lot of times people will say, all you do is, you know, recreate the crucifixion of Christ every Mass. And doesn't that get old? And I liked it when it was in Latin and we didn't know what was going on and it was mysterious and all those sorts of things. And this whole article by Father Patrick McCauley, it's so powerful because he's talking about how, first he talks about sacrifice. Sacrifice is an offering of a gift back to God as an expression of our desire for union with Him. We give something to God because we want to be closer to Him. You know, when you care about someone and you call them on the phone and you have a nice conversation, your gift of your time, the conversation, you're in union with that person. That's why God wants prayer. He's not up there going, where's my prayers today? He's up there going, be close to me. I'm here to love you. Sacrifice always involves an inner conversion or renewal. I want to highlight that. I want you to understand that that's the same thing that happens at Pray It Off. Pray It Off, you have to have an inner conversion or renewal. You can't, like one person said to me today, it's okay to lose weight, but my fear is keeping it off. Because have we had that conversion? Have we had that renewal or change of what we're going to look at as our life? Or are we going to be like that woman who gave up chocolate for Lent and has the whole chopping cart full of chocolate for the day after Lent? Genuine sacrifice prompts the person to live in a new way. Sacrifice is not something God needs. We need it. We need to offer it. And I told you one of the most powerful confessions I ever had is with Father Greg, who said, when I had a very difficult time, he said, offer it as a sacrifice to God. During the offering, when we say, please accept this sacrifice, it is a renewal of the death of Jesus. But it's also for us to place our sacrifices on the altar. We don't need to feed God or appease an angry God with our sacrifice. He wants us to love Him, love others. Those are so easy when you just simplify them. Love Him, love others. Why do we make it so complicated? And I'm going to stop right there, Bobby.